Welcome, everyone. Ready for another deep dive. Today, we're going to get into the life and work of Angelina Jolie.
Always a fascinating figure.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going beyond just, the headlines. We're diving into her whole biography, to figure out what makes her so captivating.
From Hollywood to humanitarian work, it's quite a journey.
Right. Like, everyone knows she's an Oscar winner, but did you know she was acting as a teenager already?
Oh, yeah. Early start, for sure. And her humanitarian work, that actually started because of a movie role. Pretty interesting, huh?
Definitely adds another dimension to her story. So let's rewind back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning, all right.
She's Hollywood royalty, right?
Right.
Born in 1975, daughter of Jon Voight.
Right, and Marceline Bertrand, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's exposed to film basically from day one.
I mean, imagine Jon Voight is your dad.
Must have had some impact, right? Though their relationship, it was kind of complicated.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about that.
Strange sometimes, been back together, Makes you wonder how all that affected her, growing up.
It makes the story even more interesting. And then there's her mom, Marceline Bertrand, right? Seems like she was a big influence, too.
Definitely a grounding force. Instilled a love for the arts in her.
I read she enrolled Jolie in, the Lee Strasberg Theater Institute when she was just a teen.
Yeah, like foreshadowing her whole career, isn't it?
You can almost see it all coming together, even back then. And yet, even with famous parents, it wasn't all, perfect.
Right.
There were hints of, self-esteem struggles and some rebellion. Kind of reminds us that behind the fame, there's a real person,
Totally. Everyone deals with that stuff.
So how did she get her start, professionally?
Music videos, early 90s. Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, those were big back then.
And then her first movie, Cyborg 2. In 93.
Not one I remember, honestly.
Yeah, not exactly a blockbuster, but hey, every role counts, right?
Gotta pay your dues, I guess. Then there's Hackers. 95, right?
Now that one's got a cult following.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Really showed her, presence on screen, that ability to play, strong, kind of edgy characters.
And you can see that building towards, her really intense roles later on.
Totally. Like Gia, right. That HBO movie blew everyone away.
That was her as Gia Karangi, right? The model.
Yeah. Super raw, emotional performance. Got her a Golden Globe, didn't it?
Really went deep with that role. Do you think, people could empathize with Gia, even with all her flaws and stuff?
I think so, yeah. She showed the complexity, the struggles, addiction, all of that. Really hit home for a lot of people.
Proof she could handle those really tough roles.
Absolutely. And then there's Girl. Interrupted.
Wow. With Winona Ryder, right?
Yep. Playing Lisa Rowe, a patient. Really gets into the whole mental health thing, in a real way.
And that got her the Oscar, right? Best Supporting Actress.
99. Yep. Cemented her place, seriously talented actress.
And then boom, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, the action star is born.
Total transformation, that one. Intense training, did her own stunts. Really became Lara Croft.
Seems like a real turning point in her life, not just career, right?
Yeah. Filming in Cambodia for that had a huge impact.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. She saw things that really opened her eyes to the world beyond Hollywood, right?
Totally, yeah. Poverty, displacement, the real struggles people face really ignited something in her.
Really makes you think, huh? 1 minute she's this action hero, then she's seeing all this real life hardship.
It's pretty amazing how that experience changed her trajectory.
It's like she could have just, finished the movie and moved on, but she didn't.
She had this empathy, this urge to do something about what she saw. It didn't just turn away.
And that's when she gets involved with the UNHCR, right? Becomes a Goodwill Ambassador, 2001.
Yeah, and she didn't just, lend her name to it. She went all in, traveled to 30 countries.
Wow, 30. That's serious dedication.
Advocating for refugees, working with organizations, really bringing attention to these forgotten crises.
It's hard to imagine, going from Lara Croft to that, was there any pushback?
I'm sure some people were skeptical. You know how it is. Oh, another celebrity trying to get good PR.
Yeah, I can see that.
But with Jolie, her actions spoke for themselves. She's been with the UNHCR for over 20 years now?
It's not just a fad for her. It's really who she is.
Exactly. And in 2012, she gets promoted, right? Special envoy for the UNHCR, dealing with even bigger crises.
Talk about pressure. So what was her focus then?
Syrian refugees, big time. Raising awareness, co-founding the Preventing Sexual Violence in Conflict initiative. Really heavy stuff.
That initiative, that's intense. Tough issue to tackle.
Absolutely, but she brought attention to it, Gave a voice to those who needed it most. Really pushed for accountability.
And it's around this time she adopts 3 kids internationally, right? Maddox, Pax, and Zahara.
It's one thing to advocate, but to actually open your home, your family,
That shows real commitment, doesn't it?
shows her compassion, her belief in, family. It's not simple. Of course, international adoption has its own complexities.
But she clearly felt it was important to put those beliefs into action. And then she directs her first movie, right, In the Land of Blood and Honey, 2011, about the Bosnian War.
Heavy stuff for a first film, right? But she wanted to tell impactful stories, even if they're tough to watch.
It's like she was living that reality in her humanitarian work, and it poured into her art.
Exactly. And that continues, right? Unbroken, 2014, Louis Zamperini's story, incredible.
And then First They Killed My Father, 2017, about the Cambodian genocide.
Right. She's drawn to these stories that, need to be told, even if they're hard to face. They make you think, they challenge you.
And of course, through all this, her personal life is, well, it's Angelina Jolie, right?
The tabloids love her.
Correct.
Those high-profile relationships, marriages, Johnny Lee Miller, Billy Bob Thornton.
And then Brangelina, it was like a phenomenon.
The whole world was obsessed. They were like the ultimate power couple.
Must be hard to have a normal relationship with all that scrutiny. And then their family grew even more, with 3 more kids.
6 kids total, 3 adopted, 3 biological. It was like they were building this statement family,
But sadly, it ended in 2016, right? And a very public, messy divorce.
Yeah, reminds us that even Hollywood royalty, they have real problems, real heartbreak. And with that many kids involved, it's got to be even tougher.
And through it all, she's been really open about her struggles, like that preventative double mastectomy she had 2013.
Yeah, she found out she carried the BRCA1 gene, right? Tough decision.
It was huge news. It sparked so much conversation. Did you follow that at all? Like, what struck you about it?
Her bravery, I think. She didn't hide it. She shared it with the world, made people think about genetic testing, being proactive about health.
So many women were probably inspired by that to take their health into their own hands.
Absolutely. And it showed, even someone like her, she faces these real challenges, health scares. But it doesn't have to define you.
It's like she's challenging this idea of perfection, right? It shows that everyone has stuff they're dealing with.
And by being open about it, she helped others feel less alone, less afraid. Powerful stuff.
She's definitely never been afraid to speak her mind, whether it's her health, her family, the causes she cares about.
Sometimes it gets her in trouble, but people respect her for it. She stands up for what she believes in.
So back to the humanitarian work. Celebrity activism, people are always kind of skeptical, right? But with Jolie, it's 2 decades of work.
It's hard to dismiss. I think she's helped change the perception at least a little. It's not always just for show.
Right, she doesn't just show up for a photo op. She's in it for the long haul, really trying to understand the issues.
Like that work on sexual violence? That's not easy stuff. But she's there, raising awareness, supporting survivors.
It's got to be tough seeing all that firsthand. But she doesn't shy away from it.
And people recognize that. She's won awards for her humanitarian work, the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award, that's a big one.
It's like she's gotten awards for both sides of her life, the acting and the activism.
Pretty remarkable when you think about it. She's not just one thing, she's all these things at once. Actress, director, humanitarian, mother.
And she's still going, right? Maleficent, Eternals, these big movies recently.
She's not slowing down. She's still pushing herself creatively and captivating audiences. What's amazing is how she blends it all together.
Yeah, it's all connected, like different parts of the same puzzle. It's what makes her so fascinating, right? It's really inspiring to see someone using their fame, their platform to do good in the world. So as we wrap up our deep dive here, what about you? What part of Jolie's life stood out the most for you? Was it a specific movie, her humanitarian work, her personal journey?
Tough to pick just one. I think for me, it's how it all connects, like her acting career, then seeing those global issues with UNHCR, her own personal struggles. It's like they all kind of feed into each other.
Yeah, I see that. It's like one thing leads to the next, shapes who she is, right?
Yeah, definitely. Makes her the force she is today. So what's the big takeaway? What can we, regular folks, learn from all this?
That's a good question.
Well, I think she shows us, we all have a platform, even if it's not, global. And we can use it to speak up for what matters to us.
Like her activism, it started with that one experience in Cambodia, right?
Exactly. It sparked something in her. We can all find those things in our own lives, those issues that, light a fire in us.
It's not about waiting for, some big moment or whatever. Just start where you are with what you've got.
Exactly. Volunteer, donate, speak out, whatever it is. And another thing from Jolie's story, vulnerability, right? She's so open about her struggles, her flaws. It makes her, like, human.
Yeah, in a world where everyone's trying to be perfect, it's kind of refreshing.
It shows us it's okay to not have everything figured out. We're all works in progress, right?
Totally. So do you think that's part of why people are drawn to her? That she's so real?
I think so, yeah. That willingness to be herself, to show the messy parts, it makes her message more powerful, more relatable.
It's like even someone like Angelina Jolie with all the fame and stuff, she still deals with real life problems just like the rest of us.
Exactly. Reminds us we're not alone in our struggles. We all have doubts, make mistakes. It's okay.
It's like permission to embrace those imperfections, those parts of us that we might want to hide.
They're what make us unique.
Right. And that's such an important message, I think, especially today with social media and all that pressure to be perfect.
It's easy to get caught in that comparison trap. But Jolie's story says, hey, it's okay to be perfectly imperfect.
That's a good way to put it.
It's those imperfections that make us human, that connect us to each other. And through those connections, we can build a better world, a more compassionate one. It's about recognizing, hey, we're all in this together. We all have something to offer.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's a fantastic way to wrap this up. Thanks to everyone for joining us on this deep dive into the life of Angelina Jolie. Hopefully you're feeling inspired, maybe a little challenged to think differently.
I know I am.
And remember, like Jolie said, every day we choose who we are. So go out there, be the change you want to see in the world.
Even small steps can make a big difference.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep making a difference.